Hi everyone, it's Cindy and welcome back to Studioloo. So I am back from vacation. I had an absolutely wonderful time and I have lots of fun things to share, both to talk about and to show you. I did do a little bit of thrifting and a little bit of antiquing. I didn't go too crazy because the exchange rate, of course, between the United States and Canada is quite abysmal. So if you're American, you definitely want to shop Canada right now because, it's essentially like, it's like thrifting, but anything you want. Yeah. So that being said, I do have a few things. So I had a nice vacation. I went to several states along the east coast of the United States. I often go there as I have family there, and we did a road trip, and it was really fun. Had a great time in New York, parts of Pennsylvania. Went to a lovely beach that was built by the Army Corps of Engineers. We went to Maryland, and we went to Delaware, and we went lots of places. It was a lot of fun. So the first bit of the haul that I'm going to show you is from a place called Scrap Bee. It is in Baltimore. I love Baltimore City, and this is such a treasure. It is their creative reuse store, Scrap Bee or Scrap Baltimore. Hopefully I have their card somewhere. I know I grabbed one. But if you're in the Baltimore area, 150% recommend you go, because not only do they have an insane, just massive selection of everything you could ever want creatively as an artist or a crafter, the people are unbelievably sweet and their mission is awesome. So it is in Pigtown, and so let me talk a bit about it while I show you. This is maybe my favorite treasure I got. So this was there, and this is Rembrandt Soft Pastels for Artists, made by Royal Talons by Holland, and it has this beautiful, lovely old Rembrandt label on it. So you may be familiar with Rembrandt art supplies. They're very beautiful, high quality art supplies, but this is a lovely old box. And it still has most of the soft pastels inside of it. Now they had an empty box and they had this one. And I chose this one because I was like, wow, what a fun thing I can play with. How lovely are these? So these are made in Apeldoorn, Holland. And they are just beautiful. This is the bluish gray. Now it has a wooden tray, so this is wood as well. And then there's a few more down here, and this little sponge also comes out, and so does this little wooden tray. So the cool thing is, after I am done using up these beautiful pastels, I will have this amazing wooden case, which is the main reason that I bought it, because it's just gorgeous. But I am going to play with these pastels, definitely. So while I was there, it was really lovely because I was chatting with the woman who I guess is one of the main, look at my fingers already, the main kind of, organizers of this group that have this creative reuse store. And she was really lovely, and we got chatting. Let me just grab some more stuff. Hold on. So we got chatting because I heard her say the word Canada, of course, which is where I'm from, and I said, I'm from Canada, and she's like, oh, that's funny, because she said, she was on the phone with a company that we love here called Lush. They're a Canadian cosmetics company that are all about sustainability, anti-cruelty, all of those lovely things, and also they make incredible fragrances and soaps and everything. Think Bath and Body Works, but much nicer and much more healthy and friendly to both your body and the planet. So anyways, so they had just, got talking with them because they're talking about sending all of their unused, those beautiful tins, things that Lush come in, and their packaging and stuff like that, to Scrap Bee, because, they can be creatively reused, right? A lot of people use pretty tins and things. So We got talking, and they were so kind to me, and I found a lot of stuff, which I'm going to show you now. They had just got these dropped off there, wallpaper sample books, which I normally, or not wallpaper, sorry, fabric, textile. I normally don't buy these days because I usually see them and they're really plain, but these ones weren't plain. They were really nice. And so, you know, she was saying, oh yeah, people, you know, they make bags and quilts and all sorts of things with these samples. And I said, oh, for sure. Like, I've, you know, bought these many times over the years and done different things with them, but I just really liked these fabrics. I thought they're gorgeous. So I'll show you a few. I took the headers off of them because I had to try to condense all of my stuff that I was bringing back in the car. Because when you're traveling with a couple of kiddos, you know, you have to be a little more choosy about what you get. So yeah, lots of pretty fabric in that one. And then this is a larger format one. I have two larger format ones. So this one is, I don't know, Empress Stock. No, I don't know what the brand maybe. But this one's kind of cool because it's got little ones and big ones and really cool like ones that, yeah, I love the colors. Different size samples, which gives it a junk journal-y feel already, right? Because it's kind of different. So yeah, all different colors and beautifulness. And then some of them are just really cool. Like, you know, look at that. That's so fun. I remember when I was a teenager, like, you know how you're excited about things that don't make sense to you yet, like home decor. Oh, peacock feathers. I remember finding out, like, a store, something like Winners or something, a pillow that was made this way, and it was really expensive at the time for me. It was like $35 for this pillow, and it was a big deal, and I was like, wow, that's a beautiful pillow. And then I got obsessed with trying to make one myself, and I did. I made my own like rosette type pillow, the things that we do. But yeah, these are really pretty. So then the folks at the Scrap Bee were really cool. They were so welcoming to me and really wanting to, like, you know, invite me into some more Maryland kind of culture, and which is awesome because I really love Maryland. And they brought out a bucket of Fisher's popcorn, which was so great because I hadn't been to the ocean in ages, and Fisher's popcorn at the ocean is like so amazing. So we had some popcorn together, and that was nice. And I was in there for like an hour probably, just having fun. I thought that was cool too with the alphabet on it. This one has birds, and then there's a whole bunch of little samples, itty bitties. And I thought those were a fun size, right? Like you could easily cover a tag with that. I really thought it was just really pretty. But I mean, I left a ton of these. I took 3, but they probably had like 50 or more of them. There were 3 large totes that had been donated. So let me move these and grab some more stuff. Okay, so I have a box here. Now, it's a bit of a mixed situation, and I'll try to tell you what I got where. So I'll start with this stuff. So this is all from Scrap Bee. This is a really pretty, where is it from? thecraftersworkshop.com. I really thought that was a lovely mask, and so I picked that up. And then these silver doilies, because they're pretty. And then I found this little book. Let's see if I can get that little sticker off. So the way that they price at this store is like everything is like around $1, $2, 50 cents. Like it all depends what it is, but most of what you're going to find there is going to be under $5. So this is a little sketchbook, and somebody already had been doing some art in it, which is why I picked it up, because I was really intrigued by the beautiful art that's already in here. I found that very inspiring. Got some shoes. An inventory of skills of an artist. And I may use some of these bits in the current journal that I'm working on, the art sampler journals, which I have to jump into now that I'm back. I'm getting actually pretty close. I'm at the stage where I'm filling up the signatures with ephemera right now. And then I found this, Stampin' Pastels. For all your works of art. So they're pastels for stamping, I guess. I'm not a big Stampin' Up person. I don't know much about it. All of my Stampin' Up pretty much is secondhand. But it is this really lovely collection of what look like these. Oops, I'm upside down. Hold on. I don't know why I thought it went the other way. Okay, so apply with a sponge tip applicator, cotton swab, or stiff paintbrush, then blend. You can get refills. I'm sure you can't anymore probably, but this is from 2002. And it comes with a little cleaner of the brushes and these little swabby type brushes. And they're like these chalk pastel type things. Neat, right? And there's even there's a little color guide up here. Yeah, so I want to play with these. I think they're fun. They're chalks. It says they're very soft to enable easy blending. However, due to this softness, breakage or cracking may occur in shipping. This is not considered a defect and does not affect the chalk's quality or ease of use. Yeah, so good for them for saying that. None of these are, except for this one, which I think I cracked by flipping this around and traveling with it. But yeah, how cool. Has anyone ever seen these or played with these? Because I'm interested in your thoughts on how you use them. You know, I could see using them just literally like as a chalk pastel, but I don't know like how that works in stamping and that kind of thing. I will play with it. Oh, and then I got one of these because I just really appreciated the cuteness of it all. So here's their little scrap. That's their little business like label. And they make up these packets of reused materials. It's a vintage pack. It says it's volunteer powered and it was $7. So they make all these little kits. So it's scrapb-more.org. 100% of the proceeds from this sale benefit Scrap, a nonprofit creative reuse center made in Baltimore, Maryland. So the other cool thing is because they're now in Pigtown, like they moved from one place to another. I think they've probably been operating since very early 2000s, but they've moved to the Pigtown location, and so they're so cute because they have this like whiteboard up front that talks about, you know, like what was the impact of the things they took into their store. So, you know, it's like X number of truckloads didn't go into landfill, and they're so cute because it's Pigtown. They were like, so this month, you know, the weight of things that we've repurposed and we've taken in is the equivalent of, you know, 312 newborn pigs, because they're in Pigtown, right? So cute. And I was like, you guys are funny. And yeah, very nice people. So let's see what's in this vintage pack. So if we think about, you know, supplies, the cost of supplies and stuff, for $7, this is what they put together. And I think this would be a fun little challenge to do, to just use up what I got in this little pack and like see what ephemera we could make. So a really nice little old tag and a couple of bee and a flower, a couple little cutouts, some sweet little vintage buttons, quite a few. I love the little pink ones. A beaded floral applique. Oh, and a little label on the back of that. That's old. How nice. Oh, there's two of them too, I think. Oh no, they're double layered. It's double layered. That's very cool. More buttons. And then some pretty like lace appliques. This little piece of ribbon, a couple of them. Just a little section of lace. A beautiful piece of lace. And then a photograph. This is just a black and white photo of like a very, you know, like a little gate going into the bush kind of. Your extra button, light blue wool sweater, blue silk dress. So it's a little button envelope. Oh, that's pretty. Virginia Bright cigarettes. It's a really old cigarette card of a lady, a very sort of almost bohem looking lady. And then some really beautiful paper. It's wallpaper, I think. Or possibly origami paper. And then this little bit of cardstock. A little bit of lace. Another vintage photo of a boy on a horse. And a gold doily. This little rice paper. And then this lovely 1978 little kind of postcardy thing, but it's not a postcard. It's a discount card on seafood for this event. And then we have an envelope from 1939 sent to Mr. Carl Schaefer, and I think it has something inside of it. Oh, it's a letter. How lovely. Dear Carl, it was right nice hearing from you, and we had expected to go see you last Sunday. Then David and I took colds, so we decided it wasn't much fun to go with colds on a rainy day. Maybe we next shut down we will be better. How does that sound to you? We were quite thrilled with our ride in Harold and Hazel's new Chevrolet. They probably told you it's black with a red stripe around it. We had an airmail letter from Elsie today. Your mother recorded a regular one Saturday. Soon as possible, I'm sure, or recited a regular one on Saturday. Soon as possible, I'm sure they'll find their way to see you. She did say much today. She didn't say much. Oh no, she did say much today, except she wanted 4 more pairs of shoes for little Rusty. Did you notice Bob Waldorf lost his suit? Arts say if he doesn't watch out, he'll lose his shirt. Tonight is the first of the late shift, or night shift. Oh me. I'm getting a new ice box soon, so it can be delivered. We made of our something on a cold spat. Something new for David and something on. I hope you do teach us to play contract, but Art says no one could teach him to play it. I'm not sure what he means, but not sure. I don't know what he means, but he seems to think bridge is somewhat the poison ivy. Bridge is poison ivy. I've got to darn some socks. Bye, Neil. God. Sorry for the broken, it's hard to read these old letters because people's writing is a little hard. It's very hard to tell what the writing is going to be like. We have this piece of gold that's already bent to be like a flippy tippy. An old pronunciation lesson. That was a great letter though, wow. And an envelope with a watercolor paper card inside. And another envelope with lovely blue lines and a little, almost looks like a certificate kind of card. Oh, there's another little button. This is from an old Sears Roebuck catalog. This is a book page from an old book. Hay for a bucket and hay for a spade, hay for the Silver Sea. 1899, September 1899. And then this is just a nice piece of paper. This is a very old newspaper, holy moly. It's got comics on one side here. Oh, and it was used as sewing paper. So it says here 14-inch hem grain. So someone has used this newspaper to sew a dress or something. That's cool. And then we have an Old Simplicity pattern, little kids. And a little bitty envelope. And another bitty envelope. And then some old, really pretty Victorian style wrapping paper. Music paper. And some pink paper. Okay, so that's a fun little vintage pack. So I've been starting to notice that the mainstream, the normals out there, they're starting to catch on to our junk journal world. I've been seeing it a little mainstream. I was in was it an antique store? Yes, an antique store. And there was a booth in the antique store that I could tell was put together by one of the new age, post-millennial kind of thrifter picker types. There's a lot of those kind of folks out there now. Our youngest adults are now getting their thrift on, and they are starting their own little booths, and I can always tell when it's like a younger person, it's much more curated, and yeah, it's definitely like modernized thrifting kind of. It's part of the whole, the reseller world that like, it kind of stresses me out. At the same time, it excites me, but it mostly stresses me out, to be honest, because I see, my hobby, the thing that I've always done, getting kind of popular, and that's always been something that makes me uncomfortable. With everything, like when you like a certain music that no one knows about and then everyone likes it and you're like, it's that feeling. And then I found these also from the Scrap Baltimore. So these were $2. They were regularly $9.25 at a store called Hyatt's. And they are Design Spectracolor pencils, and they're from Faber-Castell. I just thought they looked like they were fun to play with. And they're a nice full set. They have black leads. They are opaque, ideal for this lid. This lid has seen it much better days. It's very worn, scratched up. Ideal for blending and shading. So yeah, it's just some fun pencil crayons. And then I found some blanket binding. They had loads and loads of this. So they have everything from like a huge wall of fabric. All their fabric is donated and everything is donated. They have yarn. They have loads of this kind of stuff. So one thing about Baltimore is it has a real retro culture and a real vintage and thrift and retro like history, right? So my connection to Baltimore is my husband, who I met through the film and kind of the film world, but kind of the early days of blogging. Sorry for that little snip. My lovely husband, who I was just talking about, brought me coffee. So anyways, so we met through essentially writing online, the early days of blogging online, and our love of film. I'm a big fan of art film, and John Waters is a huge inspiration to me. I know he's just someone who, I think you either love him or hate him. I love him. I love him as a person. I love him as an artist. I think he's amazing. So that's what kind of drew me like toward my husband, who, actually had met him and had participated in the sort of behind the scenes of one of his films. And so from there we just kind of grew our friendship, and eventually we got together. So I'm happy to have that connection. And I also, through my husband, got to meet John Waters at one of his live shows, and it was such an experience. And since then I've been able to go to like see him a couple of times, and he gets all of his fan mail at one of my favorite bookstores in Hamden, Atomic Books. Ben and Rachel, they are wonderful people, and they facilitate so many artists and so many writers being there to do book signings and things, and he goes there from time to time, and I'm always happy to kind of see him and or be in his presence. So yeah, anyways, what tangent am I going on now? Okay, so I found this trim, and it's got this lovely like vintage label, and when I saw this, it's ironic because I was scrolling through my Facebook feed the other day, and my cousin posted this sort of meme that was really funny about like the blankets of our childhood. So I don't know if you guys grew up the same way I did. Like whenever I would go to my grandmother's house, she had these, sometimes they were wool, other times I think they were probably some kind of polyester material or something, because polyester was so big back then. Strangely, it's coming back now with like fast fashion, which like I always say, like, it is 2023. Do not choose to put polyester on your body. It's horrible. But anyways, the blankets were this rough, horrible, whether they were rough wool or they were rough synthetic, and like you'd be covered up in them, and you'd get way too hot after you fell asleep, and then eventually you would reach this stuff that was on the edge, and it was like a smooth, cool ocean, and it would just touch your skin, and you'd be like, ah, oh. And then you'd go back to just sweating and dying under this hot blanket, because I remember this. Hopefully you guys didn't have this experience, but I did. And if it's ringing in your head right now, I'm sorry. So a while ago, during Junk Journal July, you probably saw me at one point. I think the photograph was our day that we did that, which was like from this. I still haven't put this in my journal. So day 25 of Junk Journal July. If you haven't seen that video, check it out, because I do some photo colorizing with some vintage photo colorizer paints, and I found this. So this is the same thing but more modernized, and it's by a company called Zig Photo Twin, adding a tint of color for old time's sake. There's 6 flexible color twin markers. They have a small brush on one end and a large brush on the other, so they're for colorizing photos. So that's kind of cool. They do still make, and you know, in my video I forget what the company was that I was using their old colorizing tools. They do still make them. That company still sells them at, like, you know, photo shops like Henry's. But anyways, allow me to move on here. So this is a Stampin' Up, an EK Success punch. And it has these little holes here, and I always love finding, I don't use just any punches. Like, I pretty much stick to Stampin' Up and EK Success, unless it's like some kind of a unique punch that I really love and I'm like, oh, I need that. I try to keep it like pretty standard to those because they're quality punches. So let's just see. I didn't test any of these. They were so inexpensive that I was like, it's fine. Okay, so it does 2 at a time, I think, right? Yes, okay. And am I in the right spot? Yeah. There we go. Yeah, so see, you get those little notebook slots. So there's that one. The next I found some brads. Always I can use brads. I found a little wooden nib pen. They actually had a whole box of nibs too, a bunch of different nibs, but I was like, I don't need them, it's okay. And then I found this punch. This one is Imagination, and it's a square, a little square. Let's see if I can get something to punch. I'll just take the same thing here. We'll see how it works. Oh, it's really sharp. I love that. Look at that. So yeah, that'd be good for making slides and things. Then I found this. It's missing one, but it has 3 other little label stamps on it. And it is tag block number 1 from Stampers Anonymous. And it was originally $12. That's not what I paid for it. Like I said, everything is like $1, $2, $3 kind of dollars. Those punches were $2 and $3. Stamps, I think, were like $1 and the little ones were like 50 cents or something. And I found this little badge stamp. I thought that was cute. And it's from Rubber Stampede of Berkeley, California. And then I found this little bitty 25-cent circle punch. And it's a nice heavy duty one. Like it's like metal. So let me try it out. Oh yeah, that works really nicely. And it's a circle size that I don't have. So I was like, yeah. Then I found a little bit of Stampin' Stuff embossing powder. And it's like a sparkly white and silver. Okay. And then this friendly metallic powder, white, non-toxic, and this is from Amico. So Amico I'm familiar with from my pottery making. So this is like it's for clay, used with clay to make. It's a metallic powder, but I'm gonna look it up because I'm pretty sure I can do whatever I want with it. It doesn't only have to be for clay. And I found a couple more stamps. So this one, I don't even know what this says. Intense excitement. Oh, that's what it says. Oh, that's so awesome. So it's like a little, like it looked to me like it was like a little clipboard, but it actually is like a little person. It could be a puppet or a clown. And it says intense excitement. So that's pretty exciting. And then I found an ampersand, which was cool. And more little bitty brads. And then I found this punch. This was $2, and it's kind of like a button holder, but like slots, sort of like. And I think it's just a cool shape too. I thought that was kind of neat. Let's try it out. Let's see. It looks like almost like a light socket. Not a light socket, like a electricity socket, right? Don't stick your fingers in the socket. Hopefully you can see those two little holes there. Yeah. Pretty fun little punch, like a little paddle punch. And then I grabbed some of these silver stickles. I don't really use stickles all that much, but like I just grabbed it because why not? And then this little bit of lace. They had tons of lace there, but I reminded myself that I have tons of lace. Then I found more little brads and some more eyelets. And then I found this. It's a really pretty little fabric with like, it looks like tomato plants or, you know, apples. I'm not sure, but I love it. I think it's really cute. Okay, then they had tons of these strands of, these are like colored maple seeds. Get it out of the staple here. Sorry. Staples are still the bane of my existence if you're wondering. But see, they're like colored maple seeds, like silk maple seeds on wire. And so there's like a dark burgundy brown, and there's a light blue with some green. So I grabbed those. There was a ton. I mean, I could have got a ton, but I didn't take all of them. There was a ton of them there. Then I got some inks. So, like, I don't normally buy used ink because I worry, like, oh, it could be dried up. But it's not. Oh my gosh, it's not. These are so, all of them are just super juicy. So these are my first Stampin' Up! Inks. I've never had Stampin' Up! Inks before. And yeah, they're really, you'll see, like, they're intensely, like, wet. So they're fully good inks, and they had tons. I mean, a massive box of ink. I took very few because I don't need a lot of ink. I just need I wanted a few colors that I didn't have. So I got this really rust forest foliage, and this is Taken with Teal. So those are the ones that I got that are in this style of Stampin' Up! And then this chocolate chip. Now these boxes open so strangely, but I think there's benefits to how they open. Like, I was like, this would be good for some reason. Okay, so yeah, so like they open like that, and I think it's because you store them down, but their label is still up, you know, because obviously Stampin' Up, being a company that is all about stamping, they're trying to be, you know, smart about the way that they package things so people use them in a way that they want them to. So that's chocolate chip. This is pretty in pink. Then I found an unopened tea dye distress ink. So that was cool. And then these I've never seen before. Recollections Ombre Ink Pad. So look, isn't that cool? I was pretty excited about that. I'm like, yeah, I'll play with that for sure. And it's really, like I said, they're very wet. They're good inks. And then I found a Stone Gray Stays On. I was especially nervous about getting a Stays On because these ones for me are the ones that always dry up, but I've tested it and it's very, very wet with ink. Okay, so those are the inks, I think. All the inks I got. Then I found a Christmas story, just some playing cards. I'm going to open it because I love a Christmas story. And, you know, I don't usually make Christmas journals, but I do have a little Christmas stash. And I thought, if there's one thing that makes me really excited around Christmas and, you know, doing a Christmas journal, yeah, a Christmas story for sure would be included in that. So it's got images from the film, and it's got like a nice woven texture to it, kind of. There's the pink bunny suit. Oh, so cute. I love this film. Uh-oh. Yeah, that'll be a lot of fun to play with. And the backs are just that, obviously, with our... What's his name? It's not Robbie. Robbie's the little brother. Why am I forgetting his name? Alright, let's just plunk that back in here. Okay, alright, that's that. Then, I think this will conclude for now what I got at Scrap. Yeah, okay, so then I got a couple photographs. They had a huge box of photos, just a whole box of photographs that I think were 10 cents each. I just saw these two colorful, like, landscapey kind of really trippy colors, right? And I just grabbed those. But I think you could sit and sort to your heart's content through all the photos they had because there was just a massive box of them. They also had a ton of slides and a ton of negatives, like, you know, like negatives that have been processed. So, yeah. Okay, so now things that are slightly higher in price that I got at the local antique store in Havre de Grace, Maryland. It's called the Cannery, and I go there whenever I visit that area because it's the Seneca Cannery, and it was an old cannery. And I find a vendor that sells these photographs. They're these big long photos from like the 60s and stuff. So this one, it doesn't have a date on it, but I can tell from the hairstyles and stuff that it's probably 60s. This one is from Burnhaven Inc., Mount Wolf, Pennsylvania in July 1973. And look at her beehive. Can you see her beehive? Isn't that beautiful? Oh my gosh. I was so in love. I loved her, and I also love this woman here. She's just so iconic, and like there's just, you can look at these and like there's so many iconic people in them. And I'm sorry if the plastic's a little shiny. It's just, you know, they cover them up so they don't get scratched. So those were $4. This was $2, which I was surprised because I see these all over the place for different prices. It's from 1986. It's tea towel with cardinals on top and the beautiful calendar at the bottom with some nice florals and stuff. I saw so many beautiful birds. Oh my gosh, and I rescued a hummingbird. I don't know if you guys saw my my YouTube story from the other day, but I rescued a hummingbird. That was pretty awesome. As much credit or as much like delight as I give myself for doing that, which, you know, isn't a big deal. I think anybody would do that, right? Like, hopefully, please do that. The biggest, I think, payoff was just, I got to hold a hummingbird in my hand, and it was like holding a little wish or something. It was wonderful. Anyways, so I got a few books. These books are, I paid a little more for them than I would normally pay for books. And there's something about the United States, or at least where I go on the East Coast. I think if you were to go other places in the US, you may not experience what I have, but I find the valuation of books in the United States versus Canada, old books, is much higher, like much higher. You know, like you guys, if you've been around, you see the kind of books I bring home all the time, right? For like, I mean, $1, usually around $1, maybe 2 or 3. What I find in America is there's a lot more concentrated focus on history, and, you know, like America is very, I would say, to a degree that's almost hard for me to deal with at times. They're very into their own culture. They're very like patriotic, histrionic, all those things. And I'm not trying to be insulting. It's just, please understand that for someone who's not from the United States, it can be, what's the word? Just obtrusive for us to handle, like all of the American flags and like your politics and your religion and your everything, from like obituaries that people put on their cars. Like their whole life can be so very in your face, whether you like it or not. You know, like they wear their beliefs on their t-shirt, on their tattoos. Like it's a lot more intensified than what I'm used to on a daily basis. Like driving through the United States, I always feel like there are so many major personal issues that are put on big billboards for people to debate about and think about, things that I think belong in places like your bedroom or your doctor's office. But it's a lot, and that's probably a chat for another video, probably on Patreon, where people want to hear more about what I have to say. But anyways, books are valuated, in my opinion, a little higher, at least where I go. Maybe it's different. Maybe if I went to like the deeper south or something, they'd be less. But this is Dr. Dolittle's Garden by Hugh Lofting, and there was a whole series of these, probably about 6 of them in the store, and it's all the Dr. Dolittle stories, and I liked a lot of them. Dr. Dolittle in the Moon, they had that one. I thought about getting it, but it didn't have as nice a cover as this one. So look at this beautiful plate, first of all. And then this. So the In the Moon one had a really pretty picture on the front, but the book was red and the embossing was green, and I really don't like red and green together outside of nature or Christmas. It's like a thing. I just can't deal with it. I don't know why. It's just who I am. So this is from 1927, and it's just so pretty. Look at that. So yeah, beautiful book. Has some nice drawings in it. I'm thinking about what I would like to do with it. I had to pick it up though. It was really pretty. I think this book was $6. Okay. And then we have The Keeper of the Bees by Jean Stratton Porter. This is a book I've seen before but not gotten because it was quite expensive where I saw it. Here it was $10. Now, there's kind of a good and a bad. So, first of all, look at these gorgeous papers that are in the end, right? Unfortunately, this person who had this book has taped down, and I think I can probably get it off. It's quite old. Or not taped, sorry, pasted. It looks to be wheat pasted. This is Jean Stratton Porter, the nature novelist who wrote Keeper of the Bees. So I have to think about how I feel about this, and also the little scout herself, Jean Stratton, the 11-year-old granddaughter of Jean Stratton Porter, so the author's granddaughter. But like they pasted it over this. And that's got me a little bit grouchy, but you know, The Keeper of the Bees. Also, they pasted this again over this. This is from the newspaper. So I know people throughout history use books in different ways. Some people use them as kind of a keeper of memories and things like that. They put plants in them, all sorts of things. So I can't complain too much, because a book should be whatever its owner wants it to be. And then over here, we have a little bit of that paste. See, it's already kind of, yeah. But here we have this book belongs to, and this is over top of this beautiful paper, and I'm going to have to probably play with this a bit. There is a color plate there. Thankfully, this is intact. 1925, the copyright page. These are all intact. So I'm spoiled in that there's a lot of these pages. I probably don't need to be so sad about the ones that are ruined. And it has, I think, a few illustrations in it that are, maybe not. I think at the top of like the new chapter. No, just at the front. And then at the back, we also have more of these pages. Yeah, so I was familiar with this author for the book that they wrote called Freckles. I see it all the time, but this one's nice. And I do have another really beautiful bee book that I think I probably will do some nice different bee journals. I've had, you know, this list for a long time. And then this book, I really was like back and forth on whether or not to get it, but I had to. So first of all, do you see that this copper is like iridescent and it shines like the wind in the willows? So years ago, someone said to me, you know, a really nice theme you should work on is wind in the willows. And I love wind in the willows. There's nothing, absolute nothing, half so much worth doing as simply messing about in boats or in books. So I had to pick this up. It was so pretty. It is not old. It was $14. But look at it. It's just gorgeous. Pretty plate, illustrated by Nancy Barnhart. It is from 2017. It has gilded edge pages. It has a bookmark. It has some nice like little edges on the pages. There are a few little drawings here and there. Here's one. There are some color plates from the original book. But I got it mainly for the cover, of course. And I think I'm going to have a great time depicting like a nature journal that's very Wind in the Willows inspired. I'm already looking at this little frog and thinking about my watercolor toads and things that I've been working on lately, and it's exciting. Okay, so then, other ephemera. Okay, this, haven't even opened it yet. I bought a little bit of ephemera. I always have to stop myself because there's so much old ephemera in the United States that I find that's like really pretty, but it's often quite pricey again. Things are just, they're doubly expensive because first of all, they're valued higher in the United States because of their history, I think, and then also the exchange rate is yucky, like 71 I think is what it was, like when we went over. Oh, so gross. Anyways, I think this folds maybe, I'm not sure, but I just love these girls. They're so cute, and it has all these flowers and a pincushion on the back, and I think it was pulled out of a scrapbook. Yeah, it looks like it was pulled from a scrapbook, so I'll probably do some much more careful dissection of this later, because I do love this image as well, and I may scan both of them for my Patreon friends. So if you're not familiar with my Patreon, I do have a Patreon that on a monthly basis I do what's called my Journal Together kit, and it's for all my Patreons at all levels, and it's about a 15 to 17 page digital kit of eclectic ephemera. These may be things like this that I've picked up on my travels and scanned. It may be my own illustrations and designs. It's very eclectic. It's all different things, but I get a lot of good feedback on it, and I really enjoy making it. So if that's something that might interest you, you can find the link to my Patreon down below. So this is a beautiful photograph of Mary Heidelberger, and she's here at her desk with a book, and I already have in mind what I would like to do with this. I recently got a book about a little girl who gets trapped in a library, and I want to make sort of a storybook journal with it, and I think this may be a depiction of her as an adult. As soon as I saw it, I was like, that's the one, that's the one. And then I found this little sweet pea. Look at this little dress. It's all embroidered. Janesville, Minnesota. Little cabinet card. And then I found this. Now, I don't exactly know what this is. It is some kind of religious thing. It's called Rock of Ages. And I just love the cover. I'm going to do something with the cover. But then inside, let's take a look. Look at that. That's gold and it's like shimmery and these flowers. 1909 by Couples and Leon Company of New York. Rock of Ages by A.M. Toplady? The Lord is my rock and my fortress, rock of ages, cleft for me, let me hide myself in thee. Let the water and the blood from thy riven side which flowed. This to me could be quite gothic. I think it could be used in a very gothic journal. Be of sin the double cure. Cleanse me from its guilt and power. But like all of these plates are beautiful, gilded. Could my zeal no respite know? Could my tears forever flow? And then there's like a harp, an angel with a harp on this side. So yeah, more text, some beautiful flowers. If you know anything about this kind of a book or Rock of Ages in general, let me know. Because this isn't my thing. As you know, I'm not a religious person. I don't know a lot about this kind of thing. But yeah, I love the images and the cover really spoke to me. Those beautiful like orchid type flowers are just gorgeous. Okay, then some cabinet cards. So this was like $5 for the whole pack, I think. But the problem is they were like this, like I couldn't see them, so I just had to take a risk. So there's him, and I think he's cute. Her, and this is a tin type. This gentleman here, he was on the front of this. And then these were the ones that were like sketchy in the middle here, but I think that I did well. I think they're fine. First of all, we have an imprint of a man on the back, which is interesting. And then this is a little family, sort of on a hillside by the water. And it's got a really intricate frame. It's really pretty. Then we have another tin type, and isn't he just like his chin? It's very like the royals or something, you know, he's got that big royal chin. And then this one is the one that I think, you know, they hid it in the middle so I wouldn't see that it was blurry. The back is quite blurry, but I do think things like this still do have a use in junk journals. So you can see all these gentlemen here, and there's a wagon wheels, and it looks kind of like a saloon maybe back here, and then it's outdoors or something. I think that you can tell a story with this. I also think that, you know, you can collage on it and make it more interesting. You can cover some of the blur if you want. But yes, I never enjoy when I have one of those antique sellers who they sneak on you that way. So I am also not opposed to opening a package from time to time. I have done it because if I'm going to pay you like $20 for an envelope of photographs and I can't see them, I want to make sure that you're not putting something like totally whatever in the middle, because I'm not buying. You know, I don't do tricks. No. Okay, 1 minute. Let me pull another box over here. Okay. So I also stopped at Target because I love Target, and for those of you lucky enough to live near Target in the US, I recommend completely this brand, Mondo Llama, at Target. So this huge sketchbook that has an elastic, it is, do they have the size? It's really big. It's 9.1 inches wide by 13.6 high, and it has 80 sheets, and they are really quality sketchbook paper inside. So, and it's coiled and it's perforated, and it's a nice, like, you know, weight for a sketchbook. So great for kids. Acid free, 160 pages. I don't think it gives me the GSM of the paper, but that's okay. It's not like, you know, watercolor paper, but it's heavier weight than copy paper. So just pull these off. I got 2 of them, and they're so colorful and fun, like sketchbooks. So great for kids. I grabbed those. These were $5. I'm like, what? $5? Even US, I'm good with that. And then this is their little watercolor set. So I've been picking up all sorts of different watercolor sets lately. Children's watercolors, starter watercolors, all sorts. I just love watercolors, and I like having different palettes of watercolors. So this is a really cute little set. I believe it was $10 for this whole set. So it's great though. Okay. So first you get this watercolor pad. It's 10 sheets of 8 by 10, nice quality, thick watercolor paper. And it's you see the texture on that. It's very nice. So I did a little swatching. I did a little palette here. And I have to say these are nice and pigmented, a little chalky too, which is kind of nice. And sometimes when you play with more water in the color and you let it dry and you kind of like look, you can get these nice shades. Like I was busy at the time. I didn't have a lot of time because I got started and then the kids needed me. But yeah, so you get this like bright and colorful palette, and I thought, why am I so attracted to this? I think because the colors are like candy colors. Which way am I opening this? I really don't like when I can't figure out which direction to open things because they look the same. I'm like, is this the hinge? Is that the hinge? And I don't want to break. I think it's this way. Yeah, I think it's this way. Okay. So I always touch things too gently and then they don't open. You get two nice wooden brushes, nice soft bristles, and the colors, they're really candy colored and pretty. So yeah, I had fun with that. And it was another little activity to do with my daughter. And it comes in this little box, which I think I'll repurpose probably for something journal related. I'll just throw that in my box actually to do that with. This. Oh, and then also at the scrap store, I found these two papers. They had a bunch of scrapbook paper. I just grabbed these ones because I didn't need a lot of paper. Okay, and then how funny is this? So if you're watching my dear friend Mary Ellen at Red Parrot, I found Shrubs in Color. Isn't that weird? Like, you just found this. I've never seen this book before. And she's so cute because we live kind of close to one another. So we do this, like, we have like a little text chat where we're like, hey, do you want this? Do you want that? So, yeah, she got this book and she's like, oh, Cindy, I'm sorry. I never find. And like, how sweet is she to even think of me when she finds a treasure like this, right? Like, it's good to have friends in the junk journal world because they're lovely. But yeah, look at this book. Isn't this gorgeous? Just beautiful. Let me tell you when it's from. It is from, and if you haven't heard of Mary Ellen or the Red Parrot channel, you should check her out. She's really, really great. 1966 by Doubleday and Company. Yeah, so it's got like a black and white, you know, info page and then a gorgeous plate. Beautiful. So yeah, Shrubs in Color, AGL, Hellier, FLS. That's a lot of initials and things going on there. Okay. What else did I find? Okay, 1 second. I gotta grab another bag. So this video is going to be a bit of a unpack with me and a thrift haul video. So first of all, I don't know if you can see it, but I got this bag. It's made by Hoshin on Amazon. It's too big to show you. I don't know why I'm trying. But I have this idea to create like a traveling junk journal kit. So this is the bag I want to use for it. I'll try to show it to you after. But I need to unpack a few things. So I have my little, I got this little journal at Target as well. It's like a little fun journal that I was just playing in, a little watercolor journal. Then I brought this with me on my trip to do painting, and I need to stick it back over here. I also spilled my pencil crayons, my ink tints, my Derwent Inktense crayons. Let me put them back in their tin. I was like thinking about, you know, I should do a Thrifty Thursday video, but I was like, no, I really need to do a chatty unpack video. I have so much to talk about from vacation. Not that I'll probably talk about all of it here because I did a lot of stuff. I went to the Land of Little Horses in Gettysburg, which was fun. I went to Chuck E. Cheese and I found this hilarious photo. So like a whole bunch of people ride this thing and they take a picture and then they don't know where to take it out from. Like it's not clear that there's a slot of pictures. So it was full of pictures of people with, you know, the cheese, the Chuck E. Cheese rat. And then I found this one that just had nobody in it. And I'm like, I'm going to take that. And then I got these little pens and I was just playing around doing some sampling with my little pens. And here's a nice book that I found, How to Be a Wildflower, a Field Guide by Katie Daisy. So there is also a companion book to this that's like an activity book. And this is a really pretty book, especially if, you know, you're just trying to connect with nature a little bit, or you're homeschooling and you want to, you know, introduce your kids to nature school, that kind of thing. It's just pretty. Okay. Trying to put things in sensible little stacks so I can put them away. And then one of my activities that I did while I was on vacation, so I have a journal I want to start. It's got like a bit of a houseplant theme to it. And it's the cover. I don't know where I've put it, but I need to find it because I'm going to be working on it. I took the pages out of the original old book. It's called like Milady's Houseplants. I think I have the cover somewhere here, but I don't know where I put it. But I just watercolor painted these black and white images, and I'm going to use these as ephemera in the book. And I just sort of did this like on a bit of a rainy day. We did have some rainy weather, only maybe one morning, and then one evening we had like a 3-hour power outage because there was a really crazy windstorm with rain that went through the area. See, Milady's Houseplants. So I've got that. I need to organize again into my project box. Okay, then yeah, this is my little koi watercolor kit that I take with me on vacation, and that goes in here, and I gotta put this all away. And then I found this. Just throw away the little box thing it was in. Okay, so I found this, and I don't know what I'll do with it. It's a miniature, and I was thinking of doing something with it with Milady's houseplants. But these are delicate. I don't know. They'd be really cute, like taking them off there and making like a spine charm, but like they're too delicate, I think. I gotta think about what to do. If I could put them in something individually, like little bubbles, or I could resin them or something, maybe that would be better, like putting them in resin. So that's gotta go in my head scratch pile. Then I got some texture paste at Joanne because I used up all my texture paste. I also got some daubers, the little daubers for the different colors, because I sort of have like 5 daubers or something, and I need to put those in some kind of a little case. And then I got a couple new bigger daubers. Oh yeah, and then I found this. Another of these, the Hero Arts Ombre ink in a different color. I'm excited to try that. What else? Sorry, I have this bag here. I'm trying to unpack everything. Okay. Then I got all this stuff at Edgewood thrift store in Maryland. And it's like, this was $1.91. They kind of, they price sort of like how Goodwills do with like those weird prices. So this is a vintage game called Waterworks by Parker Brothers Leaky Pipe Card Game. So I just thought the cards were really cool. Like they're pipes, and then on the back it says Waterworks. And I thought that would be a lot of fun to play with. And they come in a actual like hard plastic tray, which is interesting. And then down here, they have actual real metal little pipes. These little pipe wrenches. Isn't that cool? Things used to be so cool, right? In the olden days. And then this game is from 1972, Parker Brothers. And then I found this hilarious behind the scenes in television old retro book. It came from the Book Thing. Oh yeah, so if you're ever in Baltimore, go to the Book Thing, thebookthing.org. The books there are free. So this has a nice blue cover, as you can see. Yeah, look up the Book Thing if you're in Baltimore. It's a really cool thing. So it has all these old black and white images of like, you know, historical TV. I love this one. Like the makeup. It's really cool. And I just thought the book was fun. I like the size and the format of it. I thought it would make a cool journal. And then this book I found. I love the cover. It's so cute. May I Bring a Friend is what it's called. It's a children's book. And it is from... so it's illustrated by Benny Monstresor, written by Beatrice Schenck de Reynier, 1964. And it's really cute with its vintage monochrome illustration, and then not monochrome, but just beautiful. It's got vibes of like that book that I love, Sally Go Round the Sun. It's got that same kind of vibe to it. And then I found another cute children's book called All We Know by Linda Ashman, illustrated by Jane Dyer. And I loved the illustrations in here. I thought they were really cute. So that lamb, and this little person with this little honey pot, fox, seagull, just fun. These books were like 50 cents. They're so cute. So it's just a cute children's book. Then I found Voyages of Discovery, a visual celebration of 10 of the greatest natural history expeditions. So this is a cute book. It's got a lot of like natural history stuff in it, obviously. Lots of birds, insects, like cabinet card images. It's actually about like 10, you know, world historical world like trips, like Return to the South Sea, 1772 to 1775, James Cook, Johan, and George Forster. So it's actually about like the expeditions, right? The documentation by early expeditionists and what they found, the sojourn to Suriname in the 16 and 1700s. And this one is Maria Sibylla Marion, which she is one of my favorite lady botany artists. She's just incredible. If you've never heard of her before, please check her out. Maria Sibylla Marion. I think I'll do some kind of a cool, like a video that's just dedicated to her. I want to get back to my A to Z series on different artists I did a long time ago. Yeah, I will do that at some point. What else do I have? What else? This might be it. Let me see. Hold on. I gotta move. Oh no, we still have a few things. Okay. Okay, so how bizarre is this? 1 second. I just have to pull this bag here up and over. Okay, I found this book. So my other friend from a recent thrift haul of hers, Shell from Shell's Creative Chaos, she's working on a crow journal, I think, and like, yeah, she's working on a crow journal, and I'm also like, I've been collecting for a crow journal for a while now. She found this book. I freaked out when I saw it, and then I found it. So weird. So like, thank you for the good vibes, like both Red Parrot and Shell's Creative Chaos, because like books that you've gotten in your thrift hauls I've now found and I'm so happy about. So this is The Crows of Pearl Blossom, or Pear Blossom, by Aldous Huxley, of all people. And so yeah, I was like, this is really interesting. I guess this is the only children's book ever written by Aldous Huxley. This is from 1967, and it's a really fun story. But I think, yeah, it's going to become a journal. It's really great. It's got some nice images inside. Hold on. So first of all, I love all those green eggs, but look at that. Isn't that wonderful? So it's essentially like the Cole's notes of the book. I read it. I had a great time reading it. Is that like there's a snake that lives in this tree where these crows live, and this couple here, they live in the tree, and this snake is always trying to eat their eggs and succeeding most of the time. Like every day she'll have 2 eggs, the snake will eat them. And so she's like telling her husband, you need to kill the snake. But he doesn't want to. He's like, he's a pacifist. He doesn't want to deal with that. So he ends up talking to an owl, and they get the idea to take a couple of stones and they're going to paint them to look like her eggs. So what happens is the snake comes along and he sees them and he eats the 2 stones, and he ends up perishing because the stones are in his belly and he can't get them out. He gets all tangled up in the tree, and then Mrs. Crow, after all this time, uses him as a clothesline. So it's a little bit brutal, but not really. And yeah, he gets his comeuppance, unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, because yeah, he was a bad snake. Okay, then I found, hold on, another Joanne, cool Joanne thing that I found. Actually, no, this wasn't Joanne. This was at Scrap. Sorry. It was at Scrap. So I got these silicone brushes. They're all size 10, different angles, and I'm excited about them. I don't have nice big silicone brushes. Yeah. Okay, so that's it, I think, guys. That's everything that I got while I was on vacation. I mean, that's a lot of stuff, I know, but I'm pretty excited. I'm happy to have found so many fun things, and I'm mostly happy about Scrap. If you're in Baltimore, check it out. The people are awesome, and the stuff is awesome. So for now, that's me. I'll be back to regular kind of making videos. I'm excited to jump in and get some stuff done with you guys, and I will talk to you soon. Bye for now.